Alright, this is not the screen we left off on, but don't ingest your PC or your monitor. The reason I am in a different location is I played around a little, hopefully doing you guys a little bit of a favor, and not forcing you to go on the rest of the heroes' errands in the bazaar. I think we spent a whole video on that, so you probably had enough of it, and probably have an idea for some of these characters in the bazaar. I don't know if any of you are all that disappointed about not hearing the dialogue. Certainly not hearing me do the dialogue shouldn't be a disappointment at all, but I just don't think the characters in this game also really have a lot of the interesting things to say. Don't actually have, well, the character that some of the folks in some of the other versions of Quest for Glory have. So I don't think we're losing too much. In any event, what I did was I made sure to purchase one thing from at least every person, just in case we need them. I did purchase the fine dagger and the zebra skins that we needed, and we are well within the amount of money we need. So I think it's just one of the other things about this game where it just doesn't quite put in the same detail, just same level of gameplay they see in the other games, where you actually have to go out and kill monsters or do other things to try to pick up a couple extra bucks to be able to afford some of these things. I mean, you can get pretty much buy everything in this place at the bazaar at full price and still have plenty of money. I think the only restriction is you just can't go too overboard in purchasing food and throwing daggers and water skins. That's pretty much the only reason there'd be any limitation. And there are a few ways to pick up money. I think you can actually kill a couple characters, but not too many for a minor amount of money. But you really aren't going to run out in this game. Now, I actually want to take one more gander at what Rakeesh and Krisha might have to say. Take a look at their house, since we spared you guys. He seems to be ignoring you. Yeah, you can't talk to any of these sprites here. I think if you click on one of the humans, they can't understand what you have to say, which is always convenient in the game that the characters that you're supposed to interact with somehow speak perfect English, but the other characters don't speak English at all. And the Lion Taurs, they can kind of have an out there too, because the Lion Taurs apparently don't like humans very much. Kind of interesting that we don't see any of the Lion Taurs in any of these areas in the bazaar or anything. That wasn't animated at all. So I'm not sure where they're going, but at least this part, it was feasible to animate. You even saw that Lion Taur go into the inn, and I don't think we've ever seen one in there. In any event, let's talk to Rakeesh and Krisha and get out of here. Okay, so this is one of the areas I don't like the music either. It's kind of weird and annoying, and that's not really a problem for this Let's Play, but I turned it off on my end as well. Okay, so let's see if they have anything interesting to say. I'm really more curious about anything Rakeesh has to say about being a paladin than anything else. Alright, so that's pretty much what they told us to visit the money changer. Since we're on day 8 or so, I think we're probably advice we've taken again. Okay, so we do get a little bit more from him, that Raja is more interested in going to war now, that he's become less patient, even though the Simbani aren't marching the war. Interesting thing about the Simbani, too, for the few people we see there, I don't know how much of an army they have, but obviously it's one of the liberties the game takes. And once again, that she is trying to use her magic to search out for the demons. Okay, so she's telling us a world gate and things that actually do come into play later on, but I don't think I'm going to spend too much time talking about or going through that at this point. Yeah, so she doesn't really understand what's going on and seems to be some concerned. And it'd be nice if they actually fleshed it out more in the story in the game, but they don't really. And so we're going to be used as a pawn, supposedly, but I don't really see that actually too much in the game. Like I said, they don't flesh out the story too much, so it's kind of weak. And only we can stop the demons now, as we've heard before. So how's Rakeesh doing? And he can't do that much to help us because, well, he's not programmed to do that. Okay, so he's doubting his ability as a paladin. Not that that's really all that relevant to us, I guess. Say goodbye. So I apologize if I promised you more about being a paladin in this game. I actually thought that the paladin... You do build up some of the paladin abilities, get to see it for the first time. Maybe it was just kind of novelty of seeing it. I think the last time I played, that may have left a more positive memory in my mind. Thus far, we haven't seen too much of it. The healing thing's kind of nice with the limited combat we've had, and the sword's kind of cool, but I guess for the most part, it's not playing out quite as much. In fact, maybe Quest for Glory 4 is even a little better on that front, because there are some side quests that only the Paladin can pursue. But we're going to continue on with what we have here, and maybe get another chance at combat. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I don't really want to deal with the ant. Let's see if we can finish him off quickly. If we can, then I'll just deal with this. If not, we'll run away. And once again, we're having the weird trouble of not. Okay, so now we're making. It takes a while to make contact for some reason, and once we do, I mean, it's just a question of tapping the button. I mean, I'm hardly doing anything, and he's just going down. So I always thought this was the worst of all the combat systems, as I mentioned beforehand, which kind of complements the game, I guess. Okay, we can't get anything from that ant, but we just put up some extra points. Okay, so we're going to continue along, and I guess we might actually run into that honeybird that we talked about earlier, and I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do it myself, if that is the case, and if we don't... Okay, so there's that honeybird, and I think we have to follow him to the bee's nest, is what's going to happen, the guy talked about. And the only reason we need the honeybird is we're going to need his feather, and this is one of the kind of minor puzzles. Oops, we do not want to leave the screen, so it's okay. So I'm going to actually save at this point, like I said. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause the game. Okay, well, I was able to save it. I actually didn't go through the whole finalization of the save. I should wait a second, but I did pause it, so we didn't kill too much time. And what I believe we need to do, we actually can't deal with the bees too much. We get killed, if I recall correctly. But this is where the honey comes in, because we put that down there, and I guess this is one of the kind of easy puzzles in the game. And if we walk away, we're actually not going to take the bees down and normally honey falls behind, and the honeybird uses that to get his honey. What we did is, instead of dealing with the bees and getting killed, we instead put down the honey ourselves, and the bird gets a little bit stuck. And I guess if we approach him, he'll fly off. Yeah. And voila! We have the honeybees, we have the honeybird's feather. So that was easier than I thought it was. It's a very minor puzzle in the game. It's one of the things I guess wouldn't be too intuitive. I think the first time I did that or saw that, I may have even missed it the first time I went through the game, which is because you don't. If I recall correctly, you actually don't need the dispel potion, but you can't get maximum points, or you can't really have the game fulfilled as it's supposed to be fulfilled without without having the spell potion. But anyway, I think the way most people think you have to solve the puzzle is try to take on the bees, and in fact, all you have to do is... I'm just not going to deal with this guy. I'm sorry about that. And we are getting a little bit close to the end of the video. What I wanted to do is show you a croc man, actually. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll try to find that croc guy. There's not too much going on. See if I can get that in by the end of the video. You have to get close to the river, I think. And if... Oh, come on. Okay, well, this is going to be easier said than done. Well, then, in that case, maybe I'll run away. I'll go to the pool. We'll check out Crocman another time. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go to the Simbani village and practice some of those skills that you don't want to see me practice, because that's just going to kill time. And I'm sure as thrilled as you are by some of my commentary, 10 minutes of me just practicing different arts and filling you in on a few things that I've noticed about Sierra and the Quest for Glory series in particular probably isn't all that interesting, at least less interesting than even this, if that's your viewpoint. Oops, and we went back this way. I apologize on that. And we are coming up quite close to the end. Hopefully I can make it to the pool of peace before the video is about to end. We're coming a bit close on 10-minute mark. I think we should make it. And okay, so we are here, and okay, nobody else is here. It's kind of cool. You can see the moon at the end. I'm going to fill up the water skins and head off to Simbani Village. And when you join us next, we'll probably be there, and hopefully we will be in position to actually have all the skills we need for the initiation. So until then, take care.